National Electrical Code Section 300.3 C1 addresses conductors of circuits rated 600 volts, nominal or less. It states that alternating current circuits and direct current circuits are permitted to occupy the same equipment wiring enclosure, cable, or raceway. A crucial requirement is that all conductors must have an insulation rating equal to at least the maximum circuit voltage applied to any conductor within that enclosure, cable, or raceway. This provision aims to ensure safety by preventing insulation breakdown and potential short circuits when conductors of different voltage levels are placed in close proximity. The question arises whether a low-voltage circuit, such as a 24-volt circuit, run in the same enclosure as a higher-voltage circuit, such as a 480-volt circuit, must adhere to the same insulation rating as the higher-voltage circuit. Specifically, if the 480-volt and 24-volt wires are run in separate wire ducts within the same enclosure, does the 24-volt wiring need to maintain the same insulation rating as the 480-volt wiring? The answer lies in interpreting the code's intent and the practical implications of using separate wiring ducts. When conductors of different voltage levels are physically separated within an enclosure, the risk of insulation failure and subsequent short circuits is significantly reduced. Wire ducts provide a degree of isolation, preventing direct contact between conductors and minimizing the potential for arcing or tracking. Given this separation, it is generally permissible to use wiring with insulation ratings appropriate for their respective circuit voltages. In the case of a 480-volt circuit and a 24-volt circuit, using a 600-volt rated wire for the 480-volt circuit and a 300-volt rated wire for the 24-volt circuit is acceptable, provided that the wires are run in separate wire ducts. This approach adheres to the code's intent of ensuring adequate insulation for each circuit while recognizing the reduced risk afforded by physical separation. However, it is essential to consider other factors such as the environmental conditions within the enclosure, the presence of other potential hazards, and any specific requirements outlined in local codes or regulations. In some cases, it may be prudent to use a higher insulation rating for all conductors, regardless of voltage level, to provide an extra margin of safety. Firstly, verify the specific requirements of the local electrical code or regulations, as they may have more stringent requirements than the national code. Secondly, assess the environmental conditions within the enclosure. If the enclosure is subject to high temperatures, moisture, or corrosive substances, it may be necessary to use wiring with higher insulation ratings to withstand these conditions. Thirdly, consider the potential for future modifications or additions to the electrical system. If there is a possibility of adding higher voltage circuits to the enclosure in the future, it may be wise to use wiring with higher insulation ratings from the outset to avoid the need for costly rewiring later. Fourthly, consult with a qualified electrical engineer or inspector to ensure that the wiring installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations and meets the specific requirements of the application. In summary, while it is generally permissible to use different insulation ratings for circuits of different voltages that are run in separate wire ducts within the same enclosure, it is essential to carefully consider all relevant factors and consult with qualified professionals to ensure safe and compliant installation. The practice of running both 480-volt and 24-volt circuits within the same enclosure is common in many industrial and commercial settings. However, it requires careful consideration of safety protocols and adherence to electrical codes to prevent hazards. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the considerations and best practices for such installations. Firstly, insulation ratings. The National Electrical Code mandates that all conductors must have an insulation rating at least equal to the maximum voltage of any circuit within the enclosure. This requirement is primarily to ensure that the insulation can withstand the electrical stress without breaking down, which could lead to short circuits or electrical faults. Secondly, physical separation. The use of separate wire ducts or raceways within the enclosure is a critical safety measure. These ducts provide physical isolation between the high and low voltage conductors, reducing the likelihood of accidental contact or insulation failure due to proximity. Thirdly, conductor types. For 480-volt circuits, conductors should typically have a 600-volt insulation rating or higher. Common insulation types include THHN, THWN, or XHHW, which are suitable for dry and wet locations and offer good heat resistance. For 24-volt circuits, conductors with a 300-volt insulation rating are generally acceptable, provided they are physically separated from the higher voltage conductors. Common insulation types include those used for control wiring, such as MTW or AWM, which are designed for lower voltage applications. Fourthly, enclosure design. The enclosure itself should be properly grounded to provide a safe path for fault currents. It should also be adequately sized to accommodate all conductors and wiring devices without overcrowding, which can lead to overheating and insulation damage. Fifthly, labeling and identification. All conductors and wiring devices within the enclosure should be clearly labeled to indicate their voltage and function. This helps prevent accidental contact with high voltage circuits during maintenance or troubleshooting. Sixthly, overcurrent protection. Each circuit should have appropriate overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, to protect against short circuits and overloads. The overcurrent protection should be sized according to the ampacity of the conductors and the requirements of the connected equipment. Seventhly, grounding and bonding. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for safety. The enclosure should be bonded to ground, and all non-current carrying metal parts should be bonded together to create a low impedance path for fault currents. Eighthly, strain relief. Adequate strain relief should be provided for all conductors entering or exiting the enclosure. This prevents mechanical stress on the conductors and their terminations, which could lead to insulation damage or loose connections. Ninthly, environmental considerations. The enclosure should be suitable for the environmental conditions in which it is installed. For example, in wet or corrosive environments, an M4 or 4X enclosure should be used to protect the conductors and wiring devices from moisture and corrosion. Tenthly, code compliance. All electrical work should comply with the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and any applicable local codes or regulations. It's crucial to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to ensure that the installation meets all requirements. Firstly, running 480-volt and 24-volt circuits in separate wire ducts within the same enclosure is generally permissible, provided that the conductors have insulation ratings appropriate for their respective voltages and that the other safety measures are in place. Secondly, using 600-volt rated wire for the 480-volt circuit and 300-volt rated wire for the 24-volt circuit is acceptable in this scenario. Thirdly, always consult with a qualified electrical professional to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Additional considerations include firstly, conductor ampacity. Ensure that the conductors used for both the 480-volt and 24-volt circuits are adequately sized to carry the intended load. Refer to NEC Table 310.16 for conductor ampacity ratings based on insulation type and temperature rating. Secondly, control transformers. If the 24-volt circuit is derived from the 480-volt circuit using a control transformer, the transformer should be properly sized and protected with overcurrent devices on both the primary and secondary sides. Thirdly, surge protection. Consider installing surge protection devices to protect sensitive electronic equipment connected to the 24-volt circuit from voltage transients and surges. Fourthly, periodic inspections. Conduct periodic inspections of the enclosure and wiring to check for signs of damage, overheating, or loose connections. Address any issues promptly to prevent electrical hazards. Fifthly, documentation. Maintain accurate documentation of the electrical installation, including wiring diagrams, conductor sizes, and overcurrent protection device ratings. This documentation can be helpful for troubleshooting and maintenance purposes. Sixthly, training. Ensure that all personnel who work on the electrical system are properly trained in safe work practices and the requirements of the National Electrical Code. Seventhly, arc flash hazard. Be aware of the potential arc flash hazard when working on or near energized 480-volt circuits. Follow appropriate safety procedures such as wearing personal protective equipment and using insulated tools to minimize the risk of injury. Eighthly, coordination study. If the electrical system is complex or serves critical loads, consider conducting a coordination study to ensure that the overcurrent protection devices are properly coordinated to minimize downtime and prevent cascading failures. Ninthly, harmonics. Be aware of the potential for harmonic currents in the 480-volt circuit, especially if it serves nonlinear loads such as variable frequency drives or electronic ballasts. Install harmonic filters if necessary to reduce harmonic distortion and prevent equipment overheating. Tenthly, power quality. Monitor the power quality of the 480-volt circuit to detect voltage sags, swells, and other disturbances that could affect the performance of connected equipment. Install power conditioning equipment if necessary to improve power quality. Firstly, when running 480-volt and 24-volt circuits within the same enclosure, it is essential to prioritize safety and adhere to electrical codes and best practices. Secondly, careful planning, proper installation, and regular maintenance are crucial for ensuring a safe and reliable electrical system. Thirdly, always consult with qualified electrical professionals to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations and to address any specific concerns or challenges. Here are some specific scenarios where these guidelines would apply. Firstly, industrial control panels. In industrial control panels, it is common to have both high-voltage power circuits and low-voltage control circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power motors or other heavy machinery, while the 24-volt circuits might control sensors, relays, and programmable logic controllers. Secondly, building automation systems. Modern buildings often have sophisticated automation systems that control lighting, HVAC, and other building functions. These systems typically use a combination of 480-volt power circuits and 24-volt control circuits. Thirdly, renewable energy systems. Renewable energy systems, such as solar and wind power installations, may also have both high and low voltage circuits. The 480-volt circuits might connect the inverters to the grid, while the 24-volt circuits might control monitoring and control equipment. Fourthly, manufacturing equipment. Many types of manufacturing equipment, such as CNC machines and robotic systems, have both high-voltage power circuits and low-voltage control circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power the motors and other high-power components, while the 24-volt circuits might control the machine's logic and safety systems. Fifthly, process control systems. Process control systems used in chemical plants, refineries, and other industrial facilities often have both high and low voltage circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power pumps and other process equipment, while the 24-volt circuits might control sensors, valves, and control loops. Sixthly, telecommunications equipment. Telecommunications equipment, such as cellular base stations and data centers, may also have both high and low voltage circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power the equipment, while the 24-volt circuits might control backup power systems and monitoring the equipment. Seventhly, transportation systems. Transportation systems, such as trains and buses, may also have both high and low voltage circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power the traction motors, while the 24-volt circuits might control lighting, climate control, and other auxiliary systems. Eighthly, medical equipment. Some types of medical equipment, such as MRI machines and X-ray systems, have both high and low voltage circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power the main components of the equipment, while the 24-volt circuits might control the user interface and safety systems. Ninthly, marine applications. Marine applications, such as ships and offshore platforms, may also have both high and low voltage circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power the propulsion system and other large equipment, while the 24-volt circuits might control lighting, navigation systems, and other auxiliary equipment. Tenthly, agricultural equipment. Agricultural equipment, such as irrigation systems and harvesting machines, may also have both high and low voltage circuits. The 480-volt circuits might power pumps and other heavy equipment, while the 24-volt circuits might control sensors, valves, and other control components. In each of these scenarios, it is essential to follow the guidelines outlined above to ensure a safe and compliant electrical installation. This includes using conductors with appropriate insulation ratings, providing physical separation between high and low voltage circuits, and implementing proper grounding, overcurrent protection, and labeling. Additionally, it is crucial to consult with qualified electrical professionals to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations and to address any specific concerns or challenges. Here are some additional points to consider when working with 480-volt and 24-volt circuits in the same enclosure. Firstly, wire bundling. Avoid bundling high and low voltage conductors together in the same wire bundle, as this can increase the risk of interference and insulation damage. If it is necessary to bundle conductors together, use a barrier or shield to separate the high and low voltage circuits. Secondly, terminal blocks. Use separate terminal blocks for high and low voltage circuits to prevent accidental contact between conductors. The terminal blocks should be clearly labeled to indicate the voltage and function of each circuit. Thirdly, wire markers. Use wire markers to identify each conductor and its corresponding terminal block. The wire markers should be durable and resistant to fading or abrasion. Fourthly, cable ties. Use cable ties to secure conductors and prevent them from moving or vibrating. The cable ties should be made of a non-conductive material to prevent short circuits. Fifthly, grommets. Use grommets to protect conductors from sharp edges when they pass through metal enclosures or panels. The grommet should be made of a non-conductive material to prevent short circuits. Sixthly, conduit fittings. Use conduit fittings to connect conduit to enclosures and panels. The conduit fitting should be properly tightened to provide a secure and watertight connection. Seventhly, lock nuts and bushings. Use lock nuts and bushings to secure conduit to enclosures and panels. The lock nuts and bushings should be properly tightened to prevent the conduit from pulling out. Eighthly, sealants. Use sealants to seal openings in enclosures and panels to prevent moisture and dust from entering. The sealant should be compatible with the materials of the enclosure and panel. Ninthly, torque specifications. Follow the manufacturer's torque specifications when tightening screws and bolts. Over-tightening can damage the threads and lead to loose connections, while under-tightening can cause the connection to fail. Tenthly, visual inspections. Conduct visual inspections of the wiring and connections on a regular basis to check for signs of damage, overheating, or loose connections. Address any issues promptly to prevent electrical hazards. Firstly, by following these additional points, you can further enhance the safety and reliability of your electrical installation. Secondly, remember to always prioritize safety and consult with qualified electrical professionals to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Thirdly, running 480-volt and 24-volt circuits in separate wire ducts within the same enclosure is generally permissible, provided that the conductors have insulation ratings appropriate for their respective voltages and that the other safety measures are in place.